Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. I hope and pray that everyone is doing all right. This is Lawrence. I am your host. This is a preseason podcast. Let me break that down for you. This is not your launch podcast. This is the pre-season podcast. This is the before the launch podcast. I just wanted to jump in. Looks like we are just a few short days. By my reckoning, we are 5 days prior to the launch. And I got to be honest with you guys. I am absolutely terror-sighted. That would be a combination of terrified and excited. Terrified because this is the first time that I have ever done anything like this before. For those who know me personally, that I have absolutely no problem talking to people. Not a problem at all talking to people. I can talk with the best of them. But sitting here in front of my computer, rambling on and on, that is a new one for me. I ask that you be patient with me as I go into this new season. This is going to be a new one for me. There's no one on the other side of my computer screen that I can look at and that I can dialogue with, that I can go back and forth and share ideas with. This is going to be all me. Now, I'm not saying that it's always going to be like this. There will be occasions where I will bring in guests that I will sit and dialogue with, that have conversation with, that we will share ideas and go back and forth. But that is not the case initially. Now, the excitement part of it comes from my great desire to fulfill what I feel is God's plan for my life in this particular season. I have been in ministry for a number of years now, and I have gone through the ups and downs that come along with that, and I have seen people go through various seasons in their lives, the ups, the downs, the wild swings from left to that comes along with just living life. I've experienced those things in my own life. Just because I'm in ministry does not mean that life is always pretty for me. Those people who, again, know me personally know that not everything is always pretty for me. I've gone through and I've experienced some things, and I've done some things, and I've been some places that have allowed me to experience life in all of its many facets, the beautiful, the ugly, the wild, the calm. And I think that allows me to bring a different perspective. Not that it's going to be so unique that it's something that nobody's ever heard of before. I don't think there's anybody on earth that can bring such a unique perspective that nobody has heard of it before. If you think that, then I recommend that you go to your local bookstore and go to the self-help section and check out how many of the self-help books there are in existence, and then pull a few of them off of the shelf and see how many of them sound exactly alike. It's amazing to me that we still have so many self-help gurus out there who are still sharing the same exact message, and people are still buying the books because they say the same thing over and over again. People, hey, if that's your thing, do your thing. But I like to think that I'm unique in regards to my own life experiences and the things that I've learned. No two experiences are necessarily alike, and I like to think that the lessons that I've learned from my experiences have been just slightly unique because I'm the one that lived it. Hey, I'm different. I'm slightly different than the next guy. So maybe my perspective has been slightly different as well. But back on track, Blueprint for Life, this has been a heart project for me, a passion project, if you will, for a number of years. And I think it's time for me to let it out. to pull it out from the dark recesses of my mind where I've kept it hidden away from all of those people who kept saying over the years that, hey, you've got something to share and you should tell this to my cousin, and hey, you should share that with my sister. She's lost her mind, and I think maybe you could stand to share something. Maybe it'll help her out. I don't know. And I've often tried to downplay the things that I have to say as, maybe it is, maybe it ain't. Maybe I can help people, maybe I can't. But I think everybody has something that they want to say to someone somewhere. So I figured now was the time to take a shot, just to see what it is that I could say and see if it would help people. I am a firm believer that God has a unique design for everyone, that his plans, while we may not be able to fathom them, while we may not be able to wrap our finite minds around God's plan, that it doesn't change the fact that he has one that he designed especially for everyone. Now, this kind of goes into the do you believe in God or not, but if you'll really be honest with yourself, believing in something or not does not change whether it exists or not. Case in point, if you believe in gravity or not does not change the existence or not of gravity. If you really want to put that to the test, and I strongly recommend that you do not, I am in no way advocating that anyone put gravity to the test, but I'm just making an example. I have to put that out there because some people will try it. But as an example, if someone wanted to put gravity to the test, they could, and again, I don't recommend it, but they could jump off of a building. Now, jumping off the top of a building and screaming, I don't believe in gravity, is not going to stop gravity from existing. You're not going to mysteriously begin to float. You're not going to float off into the wild blue yonder just because you yelled out, I don't believe in gravity. Again, not believing in something does not negate its existence. You're still going to fall. And it's not the falling that hurts, it's the sudden stop that you're going to have a problem with. So your lack of belief in gravity is not going to cause anybody else any problems except for you. So whether people believe in God or not, I don't think that really hurts God's feelings at all. He knows he exists. Whether I believe that he exists or not is not really going to affect him one way or the other. But I do believe in God, and I believe that God has a unique plan for everybody, for every individual person. And I believe that his plan is designed to bring each of us to our very best life. Everybody's always talking about, I'm living my best life. I want to live my best life. But the reality is, your best life is bent on imitating somebody else. Wouldn't you like to live your own best life, the best version of yourself, the version of you that no one else can emulate because it belongs specifically to you, and it's your happiness, and it's the happiness that belongs only to you, and no one else can take it, and no one else can emulate it because it belongs exclusively to you. So it's for you to enjoy, and it brings you satisfaction, and at no point in time can anyone else demean it or remove it or anything of that nature. Wouldn't it be great to have that level of satisfaction in your life? I promise you that is possible. It's completely possible. But in order to have that level of satisfaction, you have to go about getting it the way the designer wanted you to have it. That's what I really want to get to talking about as we go into this Blueprint for Life podcast. This is not about being super churchy or being judgmental or anything of that nature. There's enough people out there that are pointing fingers, telling you that you should do this and you should do that and you ought not to be like this and you ought not be like that. There's enough people out there like that. I desire not to be like that. I myself have been judged over the course of my life. But I believe that it's important to understand that the Bible, which is God's word, given to us by God through man, has standards that we are called to live by in order to get access to the promises that God gave us, in order to gain access to the plans or blueprints that God has for us. If we're going to get access to those things, we need to learn how we need to live to qualify for the things that we desire. So that's what I really want to talk about with this podcast, okay? I want us to have a good time. I want us to enjoy ourselves. I want us to learn as we go. But I also want us to understand that God has a unique plan for each one of us. And if we'd only just take the time, we would begin to understand His plan for our lives and align ourselves with His blueprint. Thank you for joining me on this preseason podcast. I can't wait to hang out with you guys more. We launch on the 29th. I am so looking forward to it. I cannot tell you how nervous-sided I am, but I'm going to get over it. I promise you. I'm going to get over it, and I'm going to enjoy myself, and I'm looking forward to it. The first podcast, I stuck my foot out there and said it so fast that I have to stick to it. But the first podcast is going to be about an hour long. But after that, everything's going to be 30 minutes. I'm sticking to it because I said I would. I gave my word. But guys, it's been awesome. I've enjoyed it. I hope you have. I hope this was informative. I hope it's giving you an idea of the kind of person I am and the tenets that I want to have for this podcast. Enjoy yourselves. God bless. Kiss your families. Love on your people. We only get one time to go through this life. Enjoy it. God bless.